Every year, USA Today asks its readers to pick their favorite small coastal town in America. The winners are usually places with gorgeous beaches, walkable downtowns, and that perfect mix of charm and fun. Last year's champion? Well, guess what? It's right here in Florida. It's a place known for incredible fishing, and it's got a vibe that's somehow both laid back and full of life. Think you know which town I'm talking about? Well, it's probably not the one you're thinking. Welcome to Stewart, Florida, a small town on the Treasure Coast that's earned national recognition for its charm, scenery, and waterfront lifestyle. Sitting on a stretch of coast once patrolled by Spanish treasure galleons, Stewart has that rare mix of walkable streets, postcard-perfect beaches, and authentic old Florida character. It's also known as the Sailfish capital of the world, which is fantastic if you love fishing, and terrible news if you're a sailfish. They even have a giant sailfish statue right there in the middle of town, just in case you forget. Stewart is in southeast Florida along Florida's Atlantic coast. It's about 40 minutes north of West Palm Beach and about 2 hours south of Orlando. The town has a population of just under 20,000 people, so it feels more like a close-knit community than a big tourist hub. Downtown sits right on the St. Lucie River, and the beaches are just a short drive over the causeway, so you're never more than a few minutes from the water around here. Alright, so let's break it down and take a look at some of the things that make Stewart a pretty cool little town. Here's some of the best and most unique things to do around Stewart, Florida. Downtown Stewart. So downtown Stewart is one of those places where you can park your car and then realize you probably won't need it again for hours. The streets here are lined with independent shops, art galleries, coffee places, and restaurants serving everything from fresh seafood to vegan food. The historic Lyric Theater here is the crown jewel of downtown Stewart. It opened way back in 1926, so it's getting ready to celebrate its 100th birthday next year, and it's hosted everything from local performances to touring acts during the past century. Visitors love the charm of the Stewart Green Market, where you can browse things like local honey, handmade soaps, and farm-fresh produce every Sunday. One reviewer put it simply, it's like Stars Hollow but with palm trees. And if you don't know what Stars Hollow is, just imagine the most charming small town ever in a TV show where everyone knows each other and nobody seems to have a real job. Now replace the gazebo with that sailfish statue and the coffee shop with, well, another coffee shop, and you get the idea. Down here is also home to the Stewart Riverwalk, a wooden boardwalk that hugs the St. Lucie River. It connects downtown Stewart to a bunch of waterfront parks, some restaurants, the Riverwalk stage, and a lot of fishing spots here. There's also a steady calendar of events here, art festivals, live music nights, and seasonal celebrations, so there's always something happening right here. And before we continue, if you're into Florida attractions, events, hidden gems, reviews, and rankings, it would mean the world to me if you hit that subscribe button. My current goal is 100,000 subscribers, and I am just about halfway there. Thank you so much for your support. It really means a lot to me. I sincerely mean that. Thank you so much. Sailfish Splash Waterpark. So a beach town with its own water park might seem like overkill, but Stewart's summer heat makes this a welcome option when you don't want to get all salty and sandy. Sailfish Splash features water slides, a lazy river, a water playground for kids, and a lap pool. It's clean, well-maintained, and actually pretty affordable, which is pretty rare for Florida attractions that involve chlorinated water and screaming kids. Adults 13 and up are about $20, kids 12 to 1 are $18, and it's $15 if you're a local. Now, it is best to temper your expectations here. This isn't some huge attraction or a major water park like you're going to find in Orlando. Don't come out here expecting a giant volcano and a wave pool. It's really not that kind of place. It's a smaller, local water park, more geared toward people who live here. But the water park is a favorite with families because it's kind of small, it's easy to navigate, it's manageable, and it's affordable. It's usually not overwhelmingly crowded, and it's staffed with lifeguards. Parents love that. And locals love that it hosts community swim meets and events. And yeah, the name is a nod to Stewart's official fish. You'll spot sailfish designs on everything from the entrance gate to the lifeguards' shirts, just like everywhere else around town. Stewart loves to lean into the sailfish theming around here. Stewart Beach. If you want that quintessential Florida beach day but without the tourist crush of some of the more famous beaches, Stewart Beach is a great place to check out. The wide sandy stretch here offers free parking, restrooms, showers, a snack bar, and lifeguards on duty. It's great for swimming, sunbathing, or watching surfers catch waves on the breezier days. And it's not a bad place for boogie boarding either. What sets this beach apart, what we really love about this place, is its friendly, relaxed, and nostalgic vibe. This is one of those beaches that you remember visiting as a kid. No big high-rises, no chaos, just sand and waves. It's kind of under the radar a little bit, and the water here stays warm well into the fall. And then there's Bathtub Beach. This is Stewart's most unique beach, and it's actually one of the most unique in Florida, thanks to a natural reef just offshore that creates a calm, shallow lagoon here. At low tide, the water can become as still as, you guessed it, a bathtub. The reef is a protected habitat for over 500 species of marine life here too, so it's an excellent place for snorkeling and you can get out there right here from the beach. No boat required. And it's a great place to swim with kids because kids can safely wade and explore without worrying about big waves. Water shoes might be a good idea though. Some parts of the lagoon here can be a little rocky and shelly, so you want to protect your feet. And the beach is managed to protect the reef, so there are rules against collecting shells or disturbing the marine life here. Look, but don't touch, and don't be taking any critters home for your home aquarium, alright? The Elliot Museum. This is a cool place. The Elliot Museum might look small from the outside, but step in and you'll find a really cool and eclectic collection. This museum has rotating art exhibits, classic cars, vintage boats, antique bicycles, and even baseball memorabilia. A little bit for everybody in here. The Elliott Museum has over 90 classic cars, but easily the coolest thing here is the Wheels of Change car racking system. Just choose a vehicle on a touchscreen and it's delivered to you from a multi-level storage area like a giant classic car vending machine. This system is the first of its kind anywhere in the US and lets the museum maximize their space while also offering a really cool and unique way to display their cars. A lot of the reviewers of this museum say it's one of the most underrated museums in all of Florida because you can take your time exploring without battling crowds, and there's something here for everybody: gearheads, art lovers, history buffs, and it's also literally right next to the parking lot for Stewart Beach, so it's easy to combine a beach day into a museum day. Just wash off the sand first, okay? Tickets to the museum are $20 for those 13 and up and $10 6 to 12, 5 and under are free. And right across the street from the Elliott Museum is the Florida Oceanographic Coastal Center. A lot of cool stuff right next to each other around here. This 57-acre science center is equal parts aquarium, marine science lab, and nature preserve. Visitors can learn about sea turtle rehabilitation, they can hand feed stingrays, and touch horseshoe crabs. But don't worry, they're harmless despite looking like something that should be chasing Sigourney Weaver in a sci-fi movie. There's daily educational talks and feeding demonstrations, so you can time your visit to see sharks being fed or turtles right up close. And there's nature trails that wind through the mangroves and lagoons back here, and staff members are happy to answer any question you might have about local wildlife. Admission here is $18 for adults, children 3 to 12 are $9, and kids under 2 are free. The House of Refuge at Gilbert's Bar. Built in 1876, this is not a bar like you might be thinking, but this was one of the 10 houses of refuge along Florida's coast. Those were safe havens for stranded sailors who survived shipwrecks in the area. Today it's the only one still standing, and it's the oldest building in Martin County. The museum inside tells stories of life-saving efforts and maritime history with period furniture and artifacts that transport you back to the late 1800s. But the real reason to come here is the view. This is perched on a rocky stretch of coastline, waves crash dramatically below the porch, and this is one of the most photogenic buildings on the Treasure Coast. The history is just a great bonus. Now, as of the time this video came out in mid-August of 2025, the House of Refuge is temporarily closed for a little bit of R&R, renovations and refurbishment, but it's expected to reopen in early 2026. So if you're watching this video before then, you will have to wait a bit, but I'm just putting this on the list because it's well worth a visit and it's one of the most classic and iconic locations in this part of Florida. So I do have to mention it here. Manatee Pocket and Port Salerno. Just about a 10-minute drive south of downtown Stewart, you'll find Manatee Pocket in the village of Port Salerno, a working waterfront that blends old-school Florida fishing culture with a growing lineup of local restaurants, art, and entertainment. This sheltered inlet has been the heart of the area's commercial fishing industry for decades, and you'll still see shrimp boats and charter vessels docked right alongside seafood joints, serving the day's catch. Murals and sculptures scattered all around the area add a really artsy touch. The waterfront lets you enjoy fresh grouper or stone crab with the breeze in your face. It just kind of feels like you stumbled into the real Florida and then sat down to eat right in the middle of it. Go fishing, either offshore or inshore. Fishing isn't just a hobby in Stewart, it's a way of life. It's serious business around here. Offshore anglers target sailfish, of course, since this is a town that proudly lays claim to the title Sailfish Capital of the World, but you can also go out and catch mahi-mahi and king mackerel in the Gulf Stream. Inshore, the Indian River Lagoon and St. Lucie River are full of snook, tarpon, and trout. You can book charters for some serious sport fishing out there, or just cast a line from the pier and see what bites. Party boat deep sea fishing is always a good time too. The Lady Stewart 1 right here will take you offshore to target snapper, grouper, and sea bass. And party boats are actually a pretty good way to experience deep sea fishing relatively affordably and with all the gear and bait included. And even if you're not into fishing, just kicking back here and watching the fleet return in the afternoon with their flags flying is a really cool sight. Thanks for watching. That's our little look at Stewart, Florida, a little coastal town that packs in quite a lot. And if you enjoyed this video, please go ahead and hit that like button. It really helps more people discover this channel and other videos like this. And drop a comment and let me know. Have you been to Stewart? Do you live there? And what are some of your other favorite little Florida coastal towns? And of course, don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss my next adventure exploring Florida's wild, weird, and wonderful places, from the theme parks to the state parks. Thanks for watching, stay safe, and I'll see you around the Sunshine State.